Hello and welcome back to Ross's daily drawing tutorials. We're going for a rather simple subject today, but an ever so critical subject. It is trees. Oh my, this microphone cord is out of control. Okay, drafting stage. We're using our trusty drafting mechanical pencil. I'm just going to choose with a circle where our trees are going to go and what size they're going to be. And a handy little trick, let's overlap a few circles to create a tree with multiple kind of limbs. Our next step, in our grey matter, we're going to choose what kind of texture we want the leaves to use. My handy default, oh my goodness, I picked up the wrong pen. My default is the old rounded foliage texture, line style, I should say. Looks like so, and it's just a series of this shape, but there's nothing wrong with a spiky leaf, a spiky style. This is useful for fir trees and such. This is literally just a zigzag. Or you could get creative and do a highly detailed mix of maple tree type. It's not really maple tree, is it? It's kind of an ivy. Just a series of this shape. I don't really recommend it, but that could be useful, used sparingly. Today we're going to use my trusty elongated semicircle. And of course, using this circle, we're going to just randomly draw in, using our pattern, a kind of in and out, not strictly following the line, but deliberately being random in our movement and shape. We're going to fill in that outline. And then we're going to choose which side our sunlight is coming from. We're going to choose this way today. And that means roughly this half of the tree is going to be in shadow. And the way I like to do that is to add a bunch more of these lines on this side. Not going all the way around, but kind of stacking them up the same way we would do with grassy elevation. And then I'll throw in one or two on this side, shorter, briefer, just for the texture. But really, we're going to focus on the shadow, and you can stack these up just about as much as you like. And you can see, look how three-dimensional that tree looks. This big one I'll use to demonstrate a handy trick. A trick you can use sparingly to add a little variety to your trees. First of all, first step, I'm really rushing this one. I don't recommend drawing quite so quick. We've got our outline, and then we're going to randomly choose a shape to cut out of this. I'm going to choose this shape. And this is going to be a hole in our canopy. And through that hole, this is also a good place to layer up some shadow around this kind of hole. Through this hole, there are some branches visible. And where the branches don't show, you can throw in some hatching for shadow. Just a little. Better to be sparing with the hatching. And then the rest goes as before. We got shadow on one side of the tree, and we're going to communicate that with a whole bunch of layered lines, whatever pattern you've chosen. You can begin to see why this one would be so labor intensive. And truth be told, I've never tried it, but making it here, it looks really nice. Maybe I should. Okay, and final trick, we've got our multiple circle tree, and I'll throw one more here just to balance it out. And this is just handy for making your tree a bit more dynamic than a big old circle. And what I like to do is layer these rather intelligently. So over the top, this will be kind of our base canopy layer, and then over the top of that, I'll put another one, and that will be another layer to the tree. And in fact, that layer I'll draw in. Because it's got more leaves beneath it, we don't need to complete this line all the way around. And following our rule, sunlight line, this is going to be rather shadowy. And then we can follow this dynamic's the wrong word, but we can follow this more interesting multi-circular border all the way around. And of course, like most of these tricks I'm teaching you, the multiple circles are kind of just to teach you what to do intuitively later. I don't draft every tree like this. I just randomly draw in and try and balance it to the best of my ability. But drafting is a handy tool, especially when you're learning, and probably one that I should use more often. And that's a little more exciting. And of course, I like to put in some cross-hatching around the edges just to give it a little depth. Some people like to reserve cross-hatching for impassable terrain. So if you're one of those people, you may follow that rule. I highly encourage it. But if you're just trying to draw a handy battle map, then do whatever you feel like and just make it look good. Another trick with the trees, I like to fill in randomly, well, rather randomly, but rather intelligently too, kind of these shady inward areas, kind of like, but honestly, mostly randomly selected. What am I trying to say? I'm randomly adding to this border a thicker outline just for visual variety, and also in our shadow too. Pretty much you can throw this anywhere and it'll just be interesting. Or you can, like the cross-hatching, reserve thick borders to actually communicate something, to be shorthand for something, such as impassable terrain or elevation changes, etc., etc. But I like the way it looks just for decoration. And if you happen to have a pencil or a different color, it's also handy to draw the stump, see my last video for that, in where you imagine it to be. And that's useful for actually playing on the battle map, because your players can hide behind that, or that's the actual impassable terrain. So you can draw it in pencil, or you can draw it in a different color, or you can just draw it with your main pen. Or, come to your own conclusion. But anyway, there is my guide, my updated guide on drawing trees. And I hope that you can see that you are completely capable of pulling this off yourself. It is very simple when you break it down. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you can apply it and learn from it. And if there's any other topic like this you'd like me to talk about, just leave a suggestion in the comments. That's about it. So I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.